Buying a condo can be an exciting yet intimidating process whether you're a first-time homebuyer, downsizing, or looking for an investment property. But there's a lot more to it than just finding a place with a nice kitchen and a great view. Condo living comes with rules, monthly fees, and shared ownership responsibilities that are totally different from owning a detached home. If you're not prepared, you could end up dealing with unexpected costs, annoying restrictions, or even major financial headaches down the road. To help you make the right decision, or almost more importantly, to avoid making the wrong one, I'm going to walk you through the top 10 things you absolutely need to know before buying a condo. Some of these might surprise you, but trust me, you'll thank yourself later for doing the research now. So let's get started. If at any point in time you do have questions while you're watching the video, make sure you leave them down below in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. The first thing you need to do is understand the difference between freehold and leasehold condos. Not all condos are the same when it comes to ownership. You might assume that when you buy a condo, you own it outright, but that's not always the case. A freehold condo is the most common type where you own your unit and a share of the common areas. This means you have ownership rights similar to a regular house, just within a shared building. A leasehold condo, on the other hand, means you're leasing the land from a landlord, often the government, First Nations, or another entity, for a set period, which is usually 99 years. While leasehold condos are usually cheaper up front and may appear like a better deal, they come with some risks you need to be made aware of. When the lease expires, you may have to negotiate new terms or even return the property. This can also make it harder to get a mortgage or resell the unit in the future. Before you commit to buying, make sure you know what type of condo you're looking at. A freehold property is generally a safer bet for the long term, while a leasehold might work if you're looking for a lower purchase price and don't plan to hold on to it forever. I do have a video that goes far more in depth on leasehold properties, and if you're interested in watching that after you've done this one, you can find that right up here. Now moving on to the second thing that you're going to want to make sure you do, and that's to review the strata rules and bylaws. Condos aren't like detached houses where you can do whatever you want, wherever you want. Every condo building has a set of rules and bylaws that owners and residents must follow. These rules cover everything from pet policies, for instance, some buildings don't allow dogs or have height or weight restrictions, to rental restrictions, although in BC this was taken out a few years ago, so that's no longer really an issue. But this could also come down to whether or not you're allowed to have a barbecue. Additionally, there could also be noise regulations, guest policies, or renovation restrictions that impact your lifestyle. For example, if you work weird hours and need to renovate your unit, you might find that the building only allows construction noise between, let's say, the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. on weekdays. Or if you have a large dog, you might be out of luck if the building only allows pets that are under 20 pounds. Make sure you read the rules carefully before you commit to purchasing. If any of them feel too restrictive, it's better to find out now rather than after you moved in. So the third thing you're going to want to make sure you look into is the strata fees, also known as the maintenance fees. What you're trying to figure out here is, what are you really paying for? One of the biggest differences between a condo and a detached home is the monthly fees. These are mandatory payments that cover the building's maintenance, amenities, insurance, and sometimes even utilities. Fees can vary widely depending on the building. For instance, a luxury high-rise with a pool, gym, concierge, rooftop, lounge will have much higher fees than a simple low-rise with minimal amenities. So make sure you understand exactly what's included in these fees. Some buildings cover water and gas while others don't. Also, check if the fees have been increasing every year or the last time that they did increase, because this can be a sign of rising costs or financial mismanagement. Alternatively, if the fees seem too low, that's actually a red flag as well. It could mean the building isn't saving up enough for future repairs, which brings us to our next point. So the fourth thing that you want to look into is the building's financial health. The reason for this is you want to try to avoid any major special assessments or special levies. So condo buildings have something called a reserve fund, or also commonly known as a contingency reserve fund. This is a pool of money that covers major repairs like roof replacements, plumbing upgrades, or elevator repairs. A healthy building should have a well-funded reserve to handle unexpected maintenance costs. If the fund is too low, owners might get hit with one of these special assessments I'm talking about, which is a one-time, often pretty large fee to cover the emergency repairs. So imagine that you move into a condo and 6 months later, you get a notice that you owe $15,000 because the building needs a new roof. This happens more often than you'd think, and especially in older buildings. Now, that's not to say that old buildings are all bad. However, the older the building, the more likely it's going to require maintenance. So before buying, ask for a copy of the building's financial statements and reserve fund study. If it looks like the building is underfunded, you could be in for some big surprise costs down the road. The fifth thing you need to do is to check out the amenities and whether or not they're worth the cost. A lot of people love the idea of living in a building with a gym, a pool, a sauna, a party room, or all sorts of other fancy amenities, but these perks come at a price. The more amenities a building has, the higher the maintenance fees will be, and those costs apply whether or not you use those amenities. Many buyers don't realize that features like a 24-hour concierge, guest suites, rooftop lounges, or EV charging stations contribute to ongoing expenses, covering not just maintenance, but also staffing, cleaning, security, and long-term repairs. Before getting too excited about a luxury amenity package, it's important to consider whether you'll actually use these features. A well-maintained gym might save you money on a gym membership, but a pool or hot tub requires costly upkeep, which gets passed down to owners. If you never swim, you're still paying for its maintenance. Amenities can also impact resale value, but only if they're well maintained and in demand. Outdated or neglected features can lead to special assessments and unexpected fee increases, making it essential to research how often upgrades are made and whether the amenities are actually benefiting the residents. Questions you're going to want to ask are, how often are the amenities upgraded? Is there a history of special assessments for repairs? Are the amenities adding to the community feel, or are they empty most of the time? While amenities can be a great selling point, they come with ongoing costs, so it's important to prioritize what you'll actually use and ensure the fees associated with them make sense for your lifestyle. And if you're looking for a realtor who can guide you through the condo buying process, as someone who has purchased condos in the past for myself, I'd be more than happy to help. All you have to do is scroll down and click the first link in the description to book a call with me at a time that works best for you. Alternatively, feel free to text me at this number and I'm happy to answer your questions. Moving on to the sixth thing that you're going to want to do is to review the Strata Council meeting minutes. Many buyers overlook the importance of reviewing recent Strata or condo board meeting minutes, but this is a crucial step before purchasing. Generally, when you ask for minutes, you're going to be given the last 2 years worth, and it can reveal hidden issues that may not be immediately obvious when touring the building. These records often highlight ongoing maintenance concerns, legal disputes, or persistent complaints from owners. If the minutes frequently mention plumbing problems, noise complaints, or conflicts with the developer, it could indicate deeper structural or management issues that may become costly in the future. Recurring concerns about things like elevator breakdowns, heating failures, unexpected special assessments, and even rodent issues can also be red flags. Buying into a building with constant problems can lead to unforeseen expenses and frustrations, so reviewing these documents gives you insight into how well the building is maintained, how responsive management is, and whether there are other potential risks you should be aware of before committing to the purchase. The seventh thing that you need to consider is the building's age and overall condition. Both of these factors play a significant role in the long-term costs and livability. Older buildings often offer larger units and in some cases lower maintenance fees, typically, which isn't the case, but they may also require more frequent and costly repairs as systems like plumbing, roofing, and elevators begin to age. Special assessments for major repairs can be a financial burden, and especially if the strata hasn't budgeted properly for future maintenance. On the other hand, newer buildings come with modern designs, energy-efficient systems, and contemporary amenities, but they aren't without risks themselves. Many newly constructed condos experience issues such as leaky windows, faulty HVAC systems, or poor soundproofing, which may not become apparent until after residents move in. Just because a building is newer doesn't necessarily mean that the quality is better, and it really varies from building to building. So to avoid any potential headaches, it's important to research the developer's track record. Some developers have a strong reputation for quality construction, while others have a history of building defects and disputes with owners. Checking past projects and reading reviews can help you determine whether a building is likely to stand the test of time or become a source of ongoing frustration and unexpected expenses. Now, something to keep in mind here is that if a building is 10, 15, 20 years old or older, it may be difficult to track back and figure out who actually built it. But by that point in time, you're going to have a pretty good idea of how the building is holding up and what is expected to come in the future. Whereas in comparison, if a building is only 2, 3, 5, 8 years old, you can definitely figure out who the original developer was and see what their track record looks like. Because there are definitely things that can come up within the first 5 or 10 years that you need to be made aware. Now, the eighth thing that you need to think about is storage and parking. If you've never lived in a condo, oftentimes these factors can be overlooked and they can significantly impact the convenience and resale value of your condo. Generally, what I find is first-time homebuyers may underestimate how much space they actually need. Whereas conversely, someone who is downsizing thinks that they may need more space where actually they don't. But at the end of the day, storage is always a concern. Many condos have limited storage space, so it's important to assess closet sizes, built-in storage options, and whether or not it includes a separate storage locker. If you have seasonal items, sports equipment, or a bicycle, check if the building offers a dedicated bike storage or additional storage areas. Parking is another crucial consideration, and especially in areas where parking is limited. Some condos come assigned with parking included with the purchase price, which is typically the case, while others can sell parking spots separately or have a limited number available for rent. If you own a car, you want to make sure that the parking space is guaranteed and clarify whether or not it's actually owned or leased, as this can affect ownership rates and future resale value. And even if you don't have a car, this is something obviously you still want to clarify. Because even if you don't drive, having a parking spot can be a huge asset when selling the unit later. Considering these details up front can help you avoid frustrations and unexpected costs after you move in. And typically what I'm finding is the parking spots are becoming less and less in the newer buildings. For instance, in older buildings, the majority of 2-bed condos almost always had 2 parking stalls. Whereas these days, I'm finding it less and less common that 2-bed units actually have 2 parking spots. And with the cost of an additional parking spot when you go into a new development these days being anywhere from $15,000 to $30,000, this can be a massive asset when you go to resell. So just something to make sure you consider. Now, the 9th thing you need to do is assess the neighborhood and future development plans. The neighborhood surrounding a condo is just as important as the unit itself, and future development plans can have a major impact on both your quality of life and your property value. While a great location might make a condo appealing, it's essential to research what's being built nearby. A planned high-rise next door could obstruct your views, increase congestion, or even lead to years of noisy construction. On the flip side, upcoming transit expansions, shopping centers, or new parks could enhance the area's appeal and boost property values. Spending time in the neighborhood before buying can provide valuable insight. So my suggestion would be to walk around at different times of the day to assess noise levels, traffic patterns, and overall safety. Check if the local amenities such as grocery stores, restaurants, and green spaces align with your lifestyle. Have yourself or your realtor look into city planning documents or upcoming zoning changes that can also help you anticipate how the area might evolve in the coming years. A condo may seem like the perfect fit now, but understanding the long-term outlook of the neighborhood ensures that it remains a solid investment. And moving on to the 10th thing that you need to do is think about future resale value. Even if you plan to stay in your condo for the long term, it's important to consider how easy it's going to be to sell in the future. Resale value is influenced by several key factors, including the condition of the building, the desirability of the neighborhood, and unique features that set your unit apart. A well-managed building with a strong strata, a healthy contingency fund, and a history of proactive maintenance will be more attractive to future buyers. Location, of course, also plays a crucial role, as proximity to transit, shopping, schools, and green spaces can make a unit more appealing. Within the building itself, certain features can add value, such as being a corner unit with more natural light, a spacious balcony, or unobstructed views. On the other hand, restrictions on pets or excessive strata fees can limit your pool of potential buyers, making resale more challenging. Choosing a condo with strong long-term appeal ensures that when the time comes to sell, you'll have a smoother process and a better return on your investment. At the end of the day, buying a condo can be a fantastic decision, but it's important to make sure you do your research. From understanding the finances and rules to thinking about your future resale value, making an informed decision now will save you a lot of stress later. And maybe the biggest tip that I didn't actually give throughout the video is making sure you work with a realtor who is experienced with purchasing strata properties. That is something that I personally specialize in, and I service the Surrey, Langley, and other areas across the Fraser Valley. So if you'd like to continue this conversation to see if I can help you purchase a condo or other type of property for that matter, all you have to do is scroll down and click the first link in the description to book a call with me at a time that works best for you. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel, as I have tons of other videos covering different real estate topics from BC to Canada-wide, as well as community tours across the Lower Mainland. And before you get out of here, make sure you check out another video on my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.